A long time ago, God spoke a word, and He formed everything out of nothing, and it was like a song. It was like the most beautiful song you have ever heard. It began softly, like the colors of the morning or the sounds of the ocean, as God sang the rivers into being and the hills and the valleys. And then the song got louder as God formed every tree and flower and every rock and berry. And then He sang the lizards and the camels and the peacocks and the turtles. Everything was singing. And then God formed the people. And the music became even more beautiful as God formed the people in His own image to be part of His story, to understand His mystery, and to love Him and be loved by Him. Can you imagine that song? Can you imagine the music? It sang from morning till night as God walked with His people, and they knew who He was. It was beautiful, but it didn't last. The people soon wanted other things more than they wanted God. They wanted their own song, their own knowledge, their own answers. And as they did, the song changed. The music became marred. There were wrong notes in the wrong keys. There was dissonance and pain and evil and envy and shame. It made God sad. He didn't feel like singing anymore. But even so, He made a plan. One day, He said, He would send someone to bring back the music, to get rid of the wrong notes and make it beautiful again. And when that happens, everyone would sing. Can you imagine? Well, the people thought it might happen straight away. Where is the one who will bring back the music? Is it a king or a prophet? But not much changed for ages and ages. Thousands of years went by, and those jarring sounds and noises became worse, until you couldn't even remember what the original tune sounded like. Can you hear it now? But then, out of the blue, a child was born. Well, how's that going to help? But do you know what? The music came back. A star appeared, and the star sang, and shepherds appeared, and they sang, and wise men came, and they sang, and Mary and Joseph sang. And there was an old man at the temple, and he somehow knew that this child would be the one who would bring the music back forever. And that child, Jesus, grew up. And He began to teach people and call them and heal them and forgive them. He said, the kingdom of God has come. The song is starting again. Can you hear the music? One day, there was a blind man. Jesus put His hands on the man's eyes, and when He took them away, the man could see. Another day, there was a little girl. She became so sick, she stopped breathing. But Jesus went to her house, picked up her hand, and said, my child, get up. And she did. And she sang, and her mother and father sang. And even on the way there was a woman who'd been bleeding for years. She reached out her hand, touched Jesus' cloak, and the bleeding stopped immediately. Jesus spoke to her, and she believed and she sang. That's how it was. It was like there was a humming in the streets. The people could feel it in their fingers and their toes. They wanted to join in the song. Maybe, they thought, Jesus is the Son of God who will bring the music back forever. It was good for a time, but not everyone believed in Jesus. There were some important people in the town who wondered how anyone from Nazareth could know anything. Others became angry when Jesus healed people on the Sabbath. It was against the rules. So those important people began muttering and complaining. They plotted against him. But even while they plotted, the music continued. Jesus taught people. He said he was like a shepherd and he knew his sheep by name. He said he was like a gate for the sheep, and anyone who entered through him would be saved. Another day, he told a story about a man with 2 sons. One son went away and spent everything, but the son turned back, and the father ran to him. And Jesus said, that's what God is like. He's like a father who runs. The music of Jesus continued beautifully. More and more people joined in the song. The humming continued. But the important people became more and more angry. They didn't like it when Jesus called God his own Father. So one day, those important people arrested Jesus in the garden. They took him to Caiaphas. They sentenced him to death on a cross. They mocked him. They put a crown of thorns on his head. They pierced his hands and his feet with nails. Jesus hung there, shoulders heaving. One man cried out, "If he's God, why doesn't he get down off the cross?" He could have, but he didn't. He stayed there because of the song and the music. He loved the people. It was the only way to get rid of the wrong notes and the jarring sounds forever. Jesus spoke, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." And then he died. He breathed his last breath. And the whole world went silent. It was like an aching void, utterly still and empty. The music had gone. Someone watching said, "Maybe he was the Son of God. Maybe he was the music." Others crept home, hoping they'd not be seen. Some of them longed for the music. Everyone thought the song and the story was completely over, buried in the tomb. But then, 3 days later, the women were walking to the tomb, carrying spices. They turned the last corner, and the stone in front of the tomb had been rolled away. So they walked inside. There were shadows, musty. They looked around, and there was no body. The body of Jesus had gone, just cloths lying there, empty, full of air. So they walked back outside, and that's when they noticed the music. It had come back, and it was better. It was a song of freedom and dancing and celebration. It was like the richest of feasts. It was the music of forgiveness and healing and welcome. And it was playing in every part of the world because death had been defeated forever. And just then, Jesus himself appeared in front of them, and the women fell down on the ground. They sang. He spoke to them. Others came, the disciples. There were 2 men walking on a road, and Jesus showed them his hands and his feet. He was alive, risen from the dead, and they joined in the singing. The song had begun again, and it was better. It was a song from the beginning, God's own song, and it was playing everywhere in the world because death had been defeated. And it's a song of invitation and grace, the song for every one of us today. We can join in. We can sing with them. We can sing with people from every tribe and tongue and nation, because Jesus said He's coming back. And in that day, every jarring noise and wrong note will be gone forever. We will always sing together. There will be one song, and it will be playing from morning till night. Everyone singing together, even with the angels.